So while browsing the Fender website, I noticed something about their selection. It's limited. Now before you start typing angrily in the comments, hear me out. So let's say you decide I want a Jazzmaster with a hardtail bridge and 2 humbuckers of volume and a tone control. These are your options. $229 Squier Affinity Jazzmasters, the $449 Squier Contemporary Active Jazzmasters, which have a tune-o-matic bridge, or the $1,399 or the $1,499 Fender Jim Root Signature Jazzmasters, which only have a volume control. This is just stupid in my opinion, and before I continue, I'm not hating on Fender. I love Fender, and it's because I love Fender I want to see them broaden their options and bring more people to their brand. Imagine if sandwiched between the $449 Squier Contemporary Jazzmaster and the $399 Jim Root Jazzmaster, yet a $699 Player Series Jazzmaster with a Strat-style hardtail bridge, 2 Player Series humbucker pickups, and a volume and a tone control. This gives people who maybe want the Jazzmaster shape an option that appeals to them if they don't like the typical Jazzmaster tremolo system and the pickups. This could potentially bring people in that want that option, but don't necessarily want a Squier, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Squiers. I have quite a few Squiers. In fact, I even have an Affinity Jazzmaster and a Contemporary Jazzmaster. And I know the Jim Root model is an option, but the very Spartan approach of the Jim Root guitars may not appeal to everybody. Fender isn't a brand that is immediately recognized as a brand that makes metal guitars, or they are too steeped in tradition. Options are always good, and while I don't have the market data that Fender probably has, I can't say what the demand is for certain setups and configurations. But here's the thing. If you don't offer a guitar with a particular set of features, people will find that guitar somewhere else. I've seen enough hardtail dual humbucking Jazzmaster clones out there to say with some degree of confidence that Fender would likely find it lucrative to offer this type of guitar in their Player Series. How many companies make Telecaster style guitars with humbuckers? Technically, Fender does offer these types of guitars between their name brand and their Squier brand, but as much as I love and have no issues with my Squiers, there are snobbish gear nerds out there that would balk at the idea of buying a Squier because it's a cheap guitar, a beginner guitar, or a Chinese guitar, or whatever the fucking reason is that they come up with. Mind you, I'm not attacking these people, even if I think they're being kind of closed-minded about it. We all like what we like. But why should options like this, if you want a genuine Fender product, be relegated to the custom shop only? You're not modding a Jazzmaster through the mod shop to be much more than a standard Jazzmaster. And even a Telecaster, you can have dual humbuckers, but you're getting that big gaudy 70s style Telecaster pickguard, which personally I don't like. Fender does some wild stuff with the Paranormal series, but I'd like to see this kind of innovation carry over into their regular lines, and maybe even see some of those guitars become standards, like the Tornado and the Meteora. A company like Gibson clings dearly to their tradition, and they've lost their will to innovate. And even when they tried to innovate, it was with things that nobody wanted, so now they're falling back on their tradition. Fender has a rich history, and it makes some killer guitars. But if you go on Instagram and look at what people are showing off, they're guitars made by boutique builders, and most of them are Strat-shaped, loosely Strat-shaped, and are usually super Strats. There is an untapped potential, I think, for Fender to dig in and bring people back to their brand and shake the whole blues and classic rock image. There's nothing wrong with change and innovation, and there's nothing wrong with getting your brand into as many hands as possible. They already make some bitchin' Telecaster-style guitars under the Charvel brand, so it's not a huge stretch to get some of that tooling down to Mexico for some Player Series guitars, or to even make some American guitars in that vein. But I'm just a dude that plays some hard rock and heavy metal and a bunch of Squiers because I can't part with $2,000 for a custom shop guitar that does the same thing, so what do I know?